Feeling lost in the maze of CPS? Desperate to get your child back? You're not alone. Countless parents face the heart-wrenching reality of family separation. The legal system can be overwhelming, but there's hope.
Now, here's the key. Okay, that's how you win a 6-month hearing.
Thank you.
If you do all of those things, you're going to blow your social worker's mind, you're going to blow your attorney's mind, and you're going to blow away the judge.
With attorney Vincent W. Davis, a dedicated legal expert with 39 years of experience, committed to helping families like yours. Join his weekly live Q&A on Zoom, where you can ask your burning questions about CPS cases. Get the knowledge and strategies you need to fight for your child's return.
Alrighty, good evening everyone. This is a question and answer session.
Are you ready to take control of your family's future? Participate as a one-time guest. Don't let fear hold you back. Take the first step towards reuniting your family. Join us now.
Good morning and welcome. It's now Wednesday, the 29th of January. And my dad just turned 100 years old. Wow. God bless you, Dad. Yeah, it's a remarkable experience. I have my dad. Anyway, I want to welcome you all, a warm welcome, because you found me. Fight CPS with your host, Bob Pace, and hang on to your children. Let's try to keep that family. I'm here to help you. You've been in a terrible, terrible situation with the child protection system. That's what it calls CPS. It's child protection systems in every county, every state, and every country. When I say CPS, that's what I'm talking about. Now you found me on Facebook, Fight CPS. I'm glad you did. And I'm glad you come to my room. There are 8 rooms, 7 are Facebook and 1 is YouTube. They all channel into this area. I'm broadcasting on YouTube using StreamYard application. And so I really am thrilled to have you here. Because you need help fighting CPS alone. The CPS system sucks. I know it's a bad agency. Not all of it is bad, but my case and the cases of over 900 people have said differently. Now, 900 people in my case, that's a small percent of bad CPS. But it seems like everybody I talk to is on down and out. They have issues that are beyond their control, but they're good parents. They love their parents. Now, CPS was mandated, or actually Congress mandated, that the social services create a CPS system, a child protection system, to protect our children from neglect and abuse, because so many children over the last 200 years have been abused. I think I've found it going back to the 1600s, in the early 1600s of a case. And it went all the way up through the 1800s and the 1900s, and it's gone through societies and good intentions and so forth. But apparently the system today is not working, at least in my case or the cases of 900 some people more. And this is a worldwide podcast because not only is the U.S. listening in, also the other countries are. And I have right now about 20 countries that have either called in or text in with questions or concerns of how to fight CPS, how they get their children back. And this is really, really hard because you got to start at the beginning. If you don't at the beginning, your life is going to be miserable, because the CPS that I encountered was corrupt. They lie, they bring your hopes up, and they deflate your hopes. I have 6 children I've helped to raise. 3 are older and 3 are younger. And CPS stole my 3 children in the very beginning in 2015. Now, in 2010, I'd lost my job, and so I was struggling. I'd worked for 45 years. I was 60 years old at the time. And yes, I had small children at the time. I had hold on one second here. Um, okay, I'm back. I'm sorry. I broadcast this from my home. I have a family. I'm proud of my family. I love my children, and I want to take care of my family. And like you all, you're trying to take care of your family and trying to get your kids back and so forth. And um, I'm glad that you have joined me. Now, there's many ways that you can interact with this podcast. There's 4 ways. One is you text me a message, either a comment or a question, and it should pertain to CPS. Please show your first name, your city or county your case was in, and the state. Now, if you're from another country, I'd like to have your province and your country as well as your city and your first name. All of you, please be complete with your CPS case when you text in so I can understand and help you. I too had experience of going through that. Has been really traumatic. It's still traumatic today. I still feel the same way. But anyway, I have some ideas that can help you. I have 5 rules I've devised. If I'd followed those 5 rules or had known about it or even knew about CPS, I would never have lost, 3 of my children. Now, I did get back 2 of my children, but one of them, unfortunately, was gone. And that's the hardest thing, is that when you don't have touch with your children, it's a hard thing to go through. It's also a hard thing for your family to go through all this mess too, because they have a life too. We all have a life. It's just so hard when you face corruption and people take advantage of you. It really is. It really is tough. It's tough. Now, in this room, you can give me emojis, which are great: hearts, thumbs up, and smiley faces. You can also check below if you want to follow me or other notifications. Okay. My youngest son is out the door. He's either working or going to college. He's only 19. He just turned 19, and that's still young. And he saved up money. He is such a remarkable boy. Yeah, I'm bragging because I'm a loving father. I care. Now, I'm not an attorney. I'm a loving father, and I have raised 6 children. I have 41 years of marriage experience, a lot of life skills. And unfortunately, as I told you, I'd lost my job in the summer of 2010 through no fault of my own. And then for 5 years, CPS was constantly calling me or inspecting my home or seeing my thing. And they couldn't find anything for 5 years until they got the police involved that gathered up all these people. Code enforcement, 2 of those people. I had 5 firemen and 2 uniformed policemen and 3 social workers, and then the detective that had somehow followed me and demanded me to take me to my home and open it up. Now, I did not know that. My rule number 3 says, do not talk to social workers. Do not talk to police. Do not let them in your home. Do not answer the door. Because if you do talk to them, everything you say will be used against you. If you let them in your home, they'll see your home and they'll find something wrong with your home. If you give up your children, you'll never see them back for a while because they'll be trafficked into foster care. That agency is the only agency that's allowed to do trafficking, and they get away with it. And then they'll work on alienate your children from you as parents to the point where it gets so bad that I had my social worker retaliate. She was caught in a lie. She committed perjury in court. And my attorney, Vincent W. Davis, caught her on that. And she was so embarrassed and so ashamed of that she was lying, that she took revenge against me and my wife and our daughter. And she coached and told her daughter what to do to emancipate. Since she was 12 years old in California, you can emancipate from your parents. That means divorce your mom, your dad, your 3 brothers, your 2 sisters, your aunts and uncles and cousins, and your grandparents, both sets of them. She divorced them all. And then she was told to change her name, and she had a beautiful middle name, Hanalei. And then she was told to seal her birth certificate, get a new birth certificate so she could put her grandparents, her foster parents as the parents. And then she got a second Social Security card so she could take more money from my Social Security account, so she can get double the money. And I need the money for expenses for her, but it's all going to these people that made $500,000. They didn't need the money. They were just taking my money that I worked hard. See, I've been working for 60 years. That's a long time. I started at age 15. But anyway, another way that you can participate in this podcast is to be a guest. And I'd love to have you on as a guest on my show. I have room for 9 people as a guest. And all you have to do is email my show producer. Her name is Grace, and her email is grace@vincentwdavis.com. And you just tell her you want to be on Bob's morning or evening show. I'm on at 10 o'clock in the morning, Pacific Standard Time, for 1 hour. And then I'm on the evening at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for 1 hour. That's twice a day, 7 days a week. That's 14 shows. You pick one of them, tell Grace that's what you'll be on. She'll send you a link and directions on what to do and not to do and how to adjust your camera and sound. She'll help you with the whole process. And that way you can talk. And that is really, really, really great. Now, the fourth way in this room is you can call in. And my number's up, 626-698-0990. I'll leave it up there so that you can call and you can talk to me. I use Vonage, which is an application that uses the internet to do the phone. So my phone number is open. Now, there'll be messages coming in from the 7 rooms, or the 8 rooms, I should say. All of them are important messages, and they'll talk about things that you can do. Like there's an important guide that's brand new out called The Grandparents' Guide to get guardianship of their grandchildren, to see their grandchildren. Grandparents are just as entitled to as parents to see their grandchildren. Don't let CPS buffalo you. Don't let CPS try to tell you not to, because the grandparents are important. But anyway, there's a guide, and you go to the website that's printed in my rooms, and you can get the guide. It's $9.99, but if you use a discount code of PACE, capital PACE 50, or use Vincent VWD 50, you get 50% off, and it'll be only $4.99. $4.99, and it's a great guide. It's only for California, but it'll work in all the other states, and it works also for parents. There's many things that will be useful. Also, if you see that number on the screen besides my number, there's a 888-888-6582. That number is to the law offices of Vincent W. Davis. And there you can call in. Make sure if you call in, tell them that Bob Pace sent you. And you can retain Mr. Davis if your mind's made up for an attorney. Also, you can ask them for a copy of that guide, how they get the guide and other sources. They have a wealth of information. If you need an attorney in other matters, like you need an attorney in a divorce or a criminal matter or a real estate matter or a workplace matter or an injury matter, you know, it's there. Now, the area that we're in, the area that Mr. Davis is trained in, is juvenile law, family law, dependency law. Those are the laws that we're in. And so I really want to emphasize that in its entirety. That's the right law you have to be in. Now, thank you. Oh, that's a sad face. Okay, we got a sad face. I don't like that. Philistine, you're from Canada, and I welcome you to my room. You're one of my Canadian family. Please come and say a message to me. What is wrong? Tell me what I can do to help. Philistine. Philistine is from Canada, and she's from New Brunswick, the province of New Brunswick. And she is a very sweet lady. She's an indigenous tribe of the Canadian Indians. They call their Indians the First Nation people. In the United States, we call our Indians Native Americans. And all these Indians, they were the first immigrants into North America. If you think about it, they came over with the land bridge from Asia and settled in Canada and the United States. And they too have been suppressed and bothered a lot. Their children for over 100 years were taken and put into private schools, a haircut, their language they could not speak, their customs they could not practice, and they certainly could not try to remember their Indian heritage. They were abused, and that was sad. It was sad. It was sad into 1978 when they had the ICWA, the Indian Child Welfare Act, that protects Indian children. So when they get taken in by CPS, they're not automatically put in foster care. What happens is that CPS must find out if they're a member of a registered, federal recognized Indian tribe. There's about 548 federal recognized Indian tribes. And so if they are a registered member or can be registered, CPS must help find that and then turn them over to the Indian reservation. So the Indian reservation can put them with Indian families to be reunified back to the parents. You know, from 1875 to 1978, they were constantly taken from Indian families and really terrible. So when they passed this law in 1978, at least helps Indians help themselves, help their own families. Now, all of you got to understand that fighting CPS is like open heart surgery. If you know anything about open heart surgery, it takes a specialized doctor. Same thing holds true with CPS. It takes a specialized attorney. That attorney must have a background in juvenile law, family law, and dependency law, and they must have experience fighting CPS. That's the kind of attorney you have to find. Now, Vincent Davis, who just talked on the show, and I appreciate all he does on this show, feeds that category. Now, my rule number one says you need to find an attorney when you get the first inkling of being involved in CPS. That was my mistake. I did not know that. And I'm telling you now that whatever you do, don't talk to social workers. That's my rule number 3. Do not talk to police. Do not let them in their home. Do not answer the door until you have an attorney present that can help you through the process. But some of you don't get the right attorneys. Some of you think by paying a lot of money to a criminal lawyer it will help you. You need the right one. In order to do so, there are 2 important questions. Question 1 is you need to ask them, are they a licensed juvenile family dependency lawyer and have fought CPS and gotten the children back? If the answer is yes, then the second question is, when a case is closed, have they ever done a civil lawsuit against CPS, either in state court or federal court, and won money back from them? If the answer to those 2 questions is yes, then you found yourself an attorney that you need to talk to. You need to see the references. You need to understand what you're looking for, and you need to know how much the retainer is. You'll get 3 quotes, and Vince can be one of them. I can tell you meets all those criteria and questions. His retainer is up to you, how complex your case is and how long it is and where the case is located. He'll practice law in all 50 states. And he's willing to go out of his way and help you. That's the kind of attorney he is. He's a fighter. He's a pit bull fighter. He's going to get your kids back. I know that. So that's important there. That rule number 1 is really, really important. Now, I will play a little side note about court-appointed attorneys. Many of you use them. I used them. I found out by mistake they were worthless. They're only trained in legal law, not dependency law. Nothing to do with family or juveniles. They're usually new, and they're trying to do this first job, and they're paid by CPS, the Child Protection System. So there's a heavy influence towards the CPS. But you need to tell them they need to fight for your job. Now, they're going to say, I have 30 clients. I don't have time. I said, well, if you don't have time and you want to fight for my case, then I need to replace you. Now, if you hire an attorney or you take one of the court-appointed attorneys, you got to be awful careful you don't spend all your money or waste all your time with people that are just not going to help you. There are a lot of attorneys that are deceiving, just like there's a lot of CPS agencies that are deceiving. You have to be careful out there. You really have to be careful out there. Now, as I look back at my case, there were a lot of mistakes. And if I didn't make those mistakes, I'd still have all my children. I would not have lost my daughter to a social worker that was on revenge. That's the problem. Social workers love the revenge, love to build you up. Fighting CPS is also like your Alice in Wonderland. You found that rabbit hole, you went in it, you met the Cheshire cat, and they direct you room to room that go nowhere. So, if you're going to use them, make them work. Put fire under the seat of their pants. Tell them if they don't perform, they're negligence, and you can sue them for negligence. And furthermore, you can report them to the state bar and complain about their performance. Also, you can replace them with another court-appointed attorney, but try to have one that's willing to fight for your case and represent you. Because just like the social workers, the court-appointed attorneys make a lot of money. Because why? The child protection system has found $1 trillion business by giving out bonuses and incentives, by collecting on one child alone $20,000 per month, per year, until they're adopted, which is in foster care. And if they get adopted, there's the incentive program that Bill Clinton signed in 1994 that says they'll reward child protection systems if they get the child adopted into foster care. And I'm talking about big bucks, like $5,000 extra bonus. And if there are special needs, another $5,000. That's $10,000. $10,000 on top of the 20. Now you're looking at $30,000 a month. That's a lot of money to raise a child. CPS is very abusive of their authority. They will tell you things are not true. You need to know the law. And the sad part about it is not all of you are lawyers. Not all of you are child protection lawyers. I mean, you just got a little job and you're trying to do something. So I tell you, you just got to be careful out there using the court-appointed attorneys. Now, I don't know where people are this morning. It must be a bad day, Wednesday. Sometimes I have 20 or 30 people in here, and sometimes I don't. Okay, welcome. We have several new people in the room, and we're talking about ways that will help you with your case. Now, as I told you, the child protection system is supposed to protect our children from neglect or abuse. It was mandated by Congress. It's handled by social services. They're also supposed to help you with needs of food, shelter, clothing, transportation, education, medical, and a job. They're supposed to do that. Furthermore, they always seem to remove the children. If they break up your family, their responsibility is to reunify, because studies have shown the best parents are the biological parents for our children to grow up to. There's a lot that they have to learn, and a lot they have to know. It's really a hard thing growing up as a child, especially if your parents are going through hard times. You know, parents try to be good parents and take care of their children. I know that they do. And I really appreciate all of you in here trying to find the answer. Now, I may not have the answer, but I have these 5 rules that would have helped me keep it out of foster care or out of the child protection system. Now, you have to understand these social workers are not your friend. There's a bad element, like in Prescott, Arizona in 2022. There was 8 social workers that decided to have fun with parents and the general public. That's how sick the social workers are. They bought pink T-shirts, and it was not because they were, supporting breast cancer awareness. It's because they wanted something they could put their stencils on that would show up. And on the front, they put professional child kidnappers. And on the back, they put parents, you know where your children are at. And then they parade around to all the places. Walmart, Kmart, Costco, Sam's, Target, Best Buy, Sears, May Company, Penny's, all these places they parade around in because they wanted to send a message. And so when they saw the message that said, excuse me, 1 second here, that said they're professional child kidnappers, parents got alarmed. Also, they walked by on the back and said, "Parents, do you know where your children are at?" That was a blatant stupid. They're representing a government social services. They're supposed to be represented to take care of our children, not make fun of what they do. Because they don't care. It's all about money. It's $1 trillion business. Some of the child protection systems have found out it's a lucrative money-making business. You got the incentive law of 1994 by Bill Clinton that gives out thousands of dollars to family. You got the unwatched flood of money from the federal to the state. I mean, if they wanted to do $10 million one day, they asked they asked the federal government, we need $10 million. That money comes over. It's with any kind of scruples on it. There's no watchdog. There's no district. There's no directors or supervisors there's no board of directors I'm getting at, or a group that can monitor this or find out where the money's spent. They are investigating some of this money because there's $1 million missing in Richmond, Kentucky. And they found a worker had embezzled $400,000 of that. But there's still $600,000 still unaccounted for. They lie, they will retaliate, they will do revenge, and they don't care. They make up laws that are not true. They make up anything to hurt families. And it isn't about hurting people. Social service is supposed to help people. And it's so sad because someone from the border in the old days could get in there and get all those services right away and be treated like a king. But someone in the who's a U.S. citizen who's struggling gets nothing. That's why they've closed the borders and stipulated things differently. We do have a lot of government waste and government spending. I mean, if someone needs a toilet, the government agency needs a toilet, they'll send in a request for a toilet, and they request for $17,000 for a regular toilet you sit on. I'm not talking about a jet plane toilet. I'm talking about a simple toilet you get at Walmart or Home Depot or Lowe's for only $20. Not $17,000. That's ridiculous. So we do have a lot of problem out there and stuff. Now, another thing I'd like to remind all of you that if you call in and talk on my phone, which will be placed on speakerphone, or you're a guest on my podcast, I will give you a 15-minute free private consultation with Mr. Davis. And he will talk to you on a Zoom call, all for free for 15 minutes. All that's required of you is to be on my show as a guest or to call in on my phone and talk. So that's a win-win for everybody. I mean, it's so important you talk to a real attorney who's a fighter. You know, he's a case law attorney. He's done numerous civil lawsuits against CPS and won millions of dollars. He's the real deal. Now, I've talked about getting a lawyer, about phone calling and checks and so forth. Also, how to motivate if you're going to use a court-appointed attorney. Just understand, without this attorney, you're going to be helpless in CPS. They're going to take advantage of you, and your child's going to be gone. And it'll be gone pretty quickly. So you got to be heads up. You got to be smart. Now, rule number 2 I have is to create a notebook with all your documents. Get a 3-ring notebook. Get it, as thick as you can, 3 inches. And then put dividers and notebook, college rule notebook paper in it. Then hole punch all your documents and put it in there too. Organize it by that schedule of subject matters, the subject tabs. Get like 20 subject tabs. That way you can put each one what it's responsible. And one of the most important document I call is the time log incident log. You want to keep track of the incidents that happen to you, either with the CPS worker, social worker, or with the police or the school, or the doctor's office, wherever it is. What you do is on the first line you write the date, the time, and the location, who you talk to. Then on the second line, you make a summary. And the summary is no longer than 1 sentence. And then you want to finalize with the results, the outcome, a 1 sentence also. Then you keep that track, and as it goes on, you put the oldest first and the newest down at the bottom. And so you have a workable content, a workable oh boy, I lost my train of thought there. We're just really very few people in here, so I don't know what happened. I know there's another show today at 5:00 Pacific Standard Time that one of my family members, A.K. Richardson, will be doing a show with Deanna Petrie, and she'll be doing it with her also. Now, what I'd like you to understand when you hear me talking about these things, try to keep an open mind because they're there to help you. Now, after you got your lawyer taken care of and your documents, then you're going to go is how to respond to them. Never open your door to anybody. There's a 50-50 chance you'll be killed answering that door. Okay, as I say, you don't answer the door because you could be shot. There's been several cases recently where there've been one was a U.S. Air Force man died when he was shot when he was talking on FaceTime to his fiancee, which was sad because those twos will never get a chance to know what it is about family and love and relationships. So don't answer the door. Don't let them in. If you encounter them in the outside world, just be very polite, but tell them you need to have an attorney present for this legal matter. You have to have an attorney present. So you're going to have to find one. So you tell them that you need to get a hold of your attorney and you'll get back to them. That is stall tactic and that will help you because you're not prepared to talk to them. You need to talk through your attorney. You need to get the right kind of attorney. Now, if you do talk to them, less said is best because the more you say, the more they use against you. Never go to their office and never let them in your home. There's only several ways they can get in. One, you give them permission or someone else in the home gives them permission. Two, they have what's called a search warrant. And that has to be properly filled out and signed and dated. The situation really gets hard with medical trafficking. When you go to the hospital, either through the emergency room or urgent care because your child has a high fever, is sick, you're going to get advice from not your regular doctor. And it may not be what you like it to be, but you have the right to see your own doctor, your own pediatrician. Your right to second opinion. Don't let them try to buff you. But what is sad is this child protection social workers hang out in the hospitals and urgent cares because they're trying to get parents to do something wrong so they get that child to get money. By them hanging out, they want to get money. They want to get that, lots of money. Now, another way they can get in, besides permission and a warrant, is that if there's danger going on and the child's there, they're going to break in. So try to do that. Oh, one other thing about medical, don't forget when you're pregnant, giving your child, the social workers are there. They'll try to take away your baby. Don't let them do that. Again, they need a quarter. Do not let them in your delivery room. That's reserved for the mother and the people she feels comfortable with, a nurse, a doctor, etc. Now, rule number 4 is the use of the internet. That is so critical that you use the internet very wisely. It's also critical that you use the right choice of words in the format. Now, I use Google Browser. I find that being the best. So you start off with the city, followed by the state, or the city and country, or the city and province and country. Then after the state or the country, then you put in the letters CPS. And that in tune will give you a lot to look at. And then you can further um, give um, you can further ask them to stay out. They have to have a warrant. They're going to try to take your child. You don't want that to happen. But back to the internet is that you can put in clarifications. So you have city, state, country, CPS, and your question, like, what is the 388 motion? How do I get my children into custody of the Indians? How to do the 160 hearing? There's a lot of things you can put there and ask them. That's why it's important. Now, I do want to welcome Rich 4LF. Rich 4LF, welcome. Welcome to my podcast. I ask you, besides your name, to put the location, the city or county, or the state or country, because you could be also from a country there. Now, I'm going to put your message up on the screen. You're located in Virginia, seeking advice in regards to a case. And what is your question, Rich? And welcome, Rich from Virginia. I'm glad to have you in my room. See what Rich further says. Norfolk, wow. That's near Virginia Beach. I know Norfolk well. And it's a Navy town. So anyway, what is your question about your CPS case? I'll try to help you. We have about 13 minutes left. My phone number is up if you want to call at 626-698-0990. But we have a new one to the room. A new one to add to my family here is Rich. And I'm welcome to be here now to file a motion to dismiss the case as well as file a lawsuit to violations. Well, step one is you got to have an attorney. And if you're trying to do it pro se, that means yourself, you're going to be eaten up in court. It's not recommended to do so. And if you're going to file a civil lawsuit, you got to make sure your CPS case is over. And if you are done and you have your children back, then you can ask them to erase your CPS case so it doesn't stay on your record. That's what's important there. Does that help you out, Rich from Norfolk, Virginia? I'll wait for you to go ahead and ask him. Now, the last rule I have is rule number 5. Let's see what Rich has said. Um, well, you're going to have to get an attorney to do that if you're trying to use a court. Now, you can't file a dismissal unless your case is over, and you would file what's called a 388 motion. A 388 motion, and that's in California. So I know you're in Norfolk, Virginia, but it's a motion where you have new information to enter the court and you want to speak to the judge. Within 30 days of receiving that motion, he will have your case and you present your case to the judge with your attorney. If you're trying to do it pro se, you just ask the judge, I have my children back and I want to dismiss the case. And then he will listen to what your evidence that you have and so forth. I don't know if that helps you any or not. I think there was another question I missed before that question. Good. Good on both points. I'm glad you have an attorney because he's the one that's supposed to do that. So are your kids? I mean, this is so great that you're knowing what you want to do. You want to file this lawsuit. You want to file what's called a civil lawsuit for something they violated your rights. They violated your rights. Now we have about 8 minutes left. So if you want to call in, Rich, now's the time because in about 5 minutes till I wind down the show and I take my number down. I'd take my number down, Rich. So, Rich, if you want to call in, you can call in now. Rich from Norfolk, Virginia. And again, a warm welcome. And I do want to help you with your case. I do want to help you with your case. I've told you the 5 rules. Get yourself a qualified attorney. Make yourself a notebook of all your documents, including a log showing an instant log showing what's happened. And then do not talk to social workers or police. Don't let them in your home. Don't answer the door and watch it. Okay, we got the call. Good morning. Can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me?
Hi, Bob. How you doing today?
Pretty good. Who am I talking to?
This is Rich for Life from Norfolk, Virginia.
Okay. Hi, Rich for Life, Norfolk, Virginia. And your case is over and you got an attorney and you want to do a civil lawsuit? Is that what you want to do?
Yes.
Okay. In order to do a civil lawsuit, you need an attorney that specializes in that. Not all attorneys will fight CPS because it's a real hard process. Now, are your children returned?
No, we are still in the process of getting him back returned.
Okay.
So
you cannot file a lawsuit. I'm sorry, but you cannot file a lawsuit unless your case is over. You can't file for a dismissal unless you've given up your rights to your kids. Now, if you let your kids be adopted or you no longer have the legal rights of your physical or medical custody, then yes, you could file a lawsuit. But lawsuits are only filed when the case is over.
Okay, so in regards to this case that we're going through now, what advice would you have to basically have them grant custody back?
Well, I need to know where you're at on your case. Did this case started today or last week, last month, last year?
No, it's
been how many?
The cases, I had one court date. We're getting ready to have a second one in April.
Okay, and when was the case first opened up?
In November.
So we have November, December, January. We have 3 months in. Okay. It usually takes about a year for you to get back your children. It took me 3 years.
Okay.
So it does take time because they're going to ask you to complete your cases. Now, were you charged with negligence or abuse or both?
No, I was pregnant and I didn't know, and I had to go to the emergency room, and I had to take him, my son, with me, and I didn't have anybody to pick him up.
Oh boy, you did it really. So where was the father?
He was working at the time.
Okay, he could not leave his job to come and watch your 1-year-old?
I guess he couldn't, but I had to take him with me to the emergency room.
Well, there's something that they're probably going to call CPS, which they did, call the police because, you need to have someone watch your 1-year-old. You just cannot have a baby and no one there. You don't have any family members?
They reached out to some of my family members, and they declined to get my baby. So that's
Wow.
what the situation was.
Now, were you tested positive for drugs?
No.
All right. So what was their accusing? Neglect is what they accused you of?
Yes, on the court order it says abuse and neglect.
So what was the abuse? The neglect would be you don't have anybody to take care of your child. What's the abuse?
They didn't explain that.
Well, you need to explain that. What is your attorney a court order attorney, or is it attorney you hired, a professional attorney?
It's a court order attorney.
Okay. The problem with court order attorneys, they're going to work for CPS. They were hired by CPS. They know nothing about dependency law or juvenile law or family law. They're only trained in criminal law. They also have a caseload of 30 more clients. They won't have time for your case. They're going to want to make it go away. So they're not going to fight for you. And you have to put fire in the seat of their pants. If you have I don't know if you have a man or woman court appointed attorney, but you got to kick them hard and make them do their job. And if not, then you can sue them for negligence and report them to the state bar in Richmond, Virginia. You would contact the state bar and report them if they're not performing and not doing their job. But you have to understand, social service is really thrilled that you took their court-appointed attorney. There is a civil rights that you have to have attorney represent you through your time there. But it also, you have to, they know that whatever reason you can't afford an attorney, they got you because all they want to do is milk your newborn child and your 1-year-old child till they're 18. And they're getting lots of money. It's $1 trillion business.
No, I absolutely know that it's business. They're conducting business.
Yeah.
So I would like, I don't know if that's your app up there, is to book a consultation for 30 minutes. Is that you, Mr. Bob Payne?
Yes, it is. It's not with me. It's with my attorney, Vincent Davis. And that's for $60. But since you talked to me on the phone, I'm going to give you a 15-minute private Zoom consultation with Mr. Davis. He's the one that started off the program, and he'll be on the end of the program. He is a licensed professional juvenile law, family law, dependency lawyer who's fought for 39 years to get CPS and got back thousands of children. He once was in foster care himself, so he knows the system kind of well. He's a trial attorney. And because you call in, you're entitled to a 15-minute private consultation with Mr. Davis. Would you like that?
Yes, I actually would.
Yeah. It's a real simple process. All you do, the number you called in, you're going to text on that number your full name, your phone number, and your email.
Okay.
And then what I do is I set you up with my show producer, Grace, and she will make arrangements with Mr. Davis to book you and her together so you can talk about your case. My strong advice is make a list of questions written down and prioritize the ones you want to answer first. And it's very important because 15 minutes goes really fast. Now, if you think you need more time and you got a little bit of money there, he'll talk to you for 30 minutes for $60. All you do is go to that website. And if you're ready to hire Mr. Davis, my number's there, 888-888-6582. That's the law offices. So you have several options there. I really want to help you. I am glad that you came in here, and I'm on twice a day, by the way. I'm not going to disappear from you. Now, I have someone that came in.
And Mr. Bob, I subscribe to your channel, so I definitely will be coming back to your live.
Yes.
More information.
Yes, I'm on twice a day, and I have really a wealth of experience.
And thank you so much for taking time out of your day to talk with me today.
All right, well, thank you too. Thank you too. I have a question from Kenny at Placerville, California. Now, you said you did talk to Vince. Well, if you go directly to Vince, it is a $700 Zoom consultation. But if you go through me, either on a phone call or be a guest, it's only $60. And if you either call in or be a guest on my podcast, you get a free 15-minute consultation. And so it's very important. So if you call the 888 number, it's $700. If you go to the website for 30 minutes, it is $60. And if you call in, it's free. So I'm glad to see you here. You're from Placerville, California, and welcome. And again, Rich, thank you from Norfolk, Virginia for calling in. I want to thank you very, very, very much. And I want to thank the rest of you that came in this morning. But my time's up. I have to curtail my show. And so I want to say God bless to you all. Please do not stop fighting and come back and see me. I'm on again tonight at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's twice a day, 7 days a week. So God bless you.
God bless you too, Mr. Bob. Have a great day.
You bet. Well, Pool, you're going to have to call me at 7 o'clock. My number is my number is 626 698-0990. But I'm going to end my show, Pool. And if you've been on the show before, what other name did you use? Because I've never seen the Pool name before. I've never seen the Pool name. So I got to leave here, all. God bless you. And you'll hear a brief message from Vincent Davis. This is Bob Pace signing off.
Feeling lost in the maze of CPS? Desperate to get your child back? You're not alone. Countless parents face the heart-wrenching reality of family separation. The legal system can be overwhelming, but there's hope.
Now, here's the key. Faith, that's how you win a 6-month hearing.
Thank you.
If you do all of those things, you're going to blow your social worker's mind, you're going to blow your attorney's mind, and you're going to blow away the judge.
With attorney Vincent W. Davis, a dedicated legal expert with 39 years of experience, committed to helping families like yours. Join his weekly live Q&A on Zoom, where you can ask your burning questions about CPS cases. Get the knowledge and strategies you need to fight for your child's return.
Alrighty, good evening everyone. This is a question and answer session.
Are you ready to take control of your family's future? Participate as a one-time guest. Don't let fear hold you back. Take the first step towards reuniting your family. Join us now.